Story Chat with John Fornoff, the art and passion of storytelling. Here's your host, Brian Bullabush.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Story Chat, our little corner of the internet where we hope to inspire and teach the art and passion of storytelling. Today, we got John, as usual, and Miss Kimberly. We had you on last week talking about who you were and your process of writing. Totally. So, how you doing? How you guys doing?
Doing great. And just in case you weren't here last week, I'll introduce you to Kimberly. Thank you, Brian. And feel free to jump in here, Brian, with questions too, because I was hogging it last time. So you jump in here as you want.
A little bit.
Kimberly Soliman is an accomplished screenwriter. She is a faith-based screenwriter, and her specialty is gritty faith-based screenplays. She co-wrote Tinker, which was on Netflix in 2019. And she's writing a gritty faith-based short film right now. So many projects are going on, Kimberly. And she was in New York City, worked at Carnegie Hall, Madison Square Garden, Lincoln Center, and she worked on a bunch of Broadway shows, Wicked, Phantom of the Opera, Chitty Bang Bang, Chicago. Like, oh my goodness, she does a lot of stuff. But she is a writer at heart. She knows about writing, and it's such an honor to have you here, Kimberly. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. Okay, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before we got onto this one, you mentioned one of your main passions and something you are just absolutely passionate about that a lot of writers, me being one of them, don't know how to do, is networking and getting to know people and getting to talk to people. Sorry, John, if I stole your thunder on this one.
No, it's not thunder. It's actually, it's Kimberly's thunder. But I just want, from a personal experience, Kimberly is one of the best networkers I know, and she has a heart for people, and she has a heart for connecting people, and she hosts these things here in LA. She'll have like these networking dinners, like we'll go to where we go, Outback or Olive Garden or something like that, or Cheesecake Factory or something like that, and it's just fun.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. And then just get a bunch of people, and we just network people, and she just loves to do that. One of the best networkers I know. So you're going to learn. I don't want to hear what you have to. We both want to hear what you have to say about networking, because as a writer, to do professional writing, if you're just doing writing, which is good, you got to get out there. It's like you got to somehow make those connections or make friendships or whatever to get you. Because if you're just in a room writing for yourself, that's wonderful, but you need to get paid for what you're doing. So we'd love to unpack that a little bit, and feel free, Brian, jump right in. I just wanted to tell you my personal connection. She is an amazing network, and you've really encouraged me, inspired me. So what would you say for a writer? Let's talk to the writers like more. Let's start here, and you can go anywhere you want, of course. But let's say I'm shy, which people would laugh at that. But let's say I'm a writer listening right now, and you know what? I just love to write. I'm not into marketing myself and doing all that. I'm not into that. But tell me what I can do to get myself out there if I'm more introspective or more introverted. I'm sorry. So what would you say?
Yeah, I think 50% of my networking is done virtually, and I don't mean by Zoom. So a lot of the connections I've made in Hollywood, even with like independent producers, different faith producers, and outside of Hollywood, have been through LinkedIn or query letters. And then that kind of leads to phone calls. I actually have 2 calls tomorrow with people who are just virtual connections type of thing. And so I know the phone calls and the like later, if you do a Zoom with that person, it can be a little intimidating, but the good thing is you can really get your work out there and start to build connections without even leaving your home. And I just find that to be really easy. I don't know why more people don't do it, because it definitely works. And I tell a lot of my friends a lot of the tips I'm going to share with you guys, and a lot of them don't do it still, honestly. And I'm like, well, just since January, I've checked in with some of my contacts, and I have at least 6 producers reading my Christmas script now, and I've already been rejected by like 50. And so, I wasn't really sure if much would happen with it. I did win a contest, which is rare and great, because that'll get it out there. But just from me saying hi to my contacts, who I have query lettered or connected with LinkedIn. Now through that conversation, now they're reading my spec script again. And it's nice because you don't have to always be like pushing your script because you're starting all the relationships.
If I may, what's a query letter?
Right.
I'm not familiar
Okay.
with what a query letter is.
Okay, so most writers you meet will tell you that no company accepts query letters, so there's no point to doing them. But a query letter is just a brief email that you send to a producer that you say, you know, I would say like, hi, my name's Kimberly. I've written 3 features for hire. I was on the film Tinker. You have to like make yourself sound really good. So it's like your best things. Yeah.
So it's like a resume in a small sentence.
Yeah, right. Keep it brief. And then I just say, I just finished my newest script. You know, here's the log line. Let me know if you want to read the script. Thank you. That's it basically.
Huh.
And I just send those out like, you know, I don't know, shotguns. Like that sounded weird, but it's a shotgun approach is the point. So you have to,
Kimberly, you said, I'm sorry, go ahead. You have to what?
Oh, just, I mean, I send out, I mean, it depends on what stage you're at, right? So like now I already have like dozens of, if not hundreds of producers who have read my work over the last 6-7 years. So I'll hit those people up first. I also have an agent sending my scripts out too. So I may not like send as many queries, but starting out the first few years, I would send hundreds at least.
Wow. And I noticed she said, oh yeah, I got 50 rejections, almost like it was a badge of honor when you said, it's like, it's like, wow, if she got 50 no, how do you deal with the no's? How do you deal with that mentally?
Yeah, well, I think the positive thing is if you're getting your own work out there, like I think, okay, so if you don't do, and I can get into more detail, but if you don't do query letters or like my LinkedIn methods, you know, you think how many people are going to read your script? Probably one that you run into that wants to read it, you know, but if you do send out queries, I mean, really, if you send out enough, you will get people to read your work. So I think it's really easy to get like 10 producers, for instance. And I think the positive thing is that's something in your control. You know, a lot of writers seem to just kind of wait for things to happen for them. And I just think that's just, I can't imagine how slow of a process that would be. Cause I mean, I've always had people reading my work and I still haven't had, I've had a lot of options come close that never closed. I haven't really had a full spec be produced, but I've had a lot of close calls. But the point is, I wouldn't have had any of those close calls if I wasn't sending query letters. So I can't imagine.
Now, how do you get the? I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, so we're both excited about this. So tell me about with the query letters, which is a great question, Brian. Thank you. How do I know who to write to or who's a producer? Where do I find this stuff?
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't answer your other question about the rejections. So, but I think the point is, it's like, let's say you get like all 10 rejected you, then you could just send more, for instance, and if you wanted to, or it could mean, okay, maybe I should just like write a new script, or maybe it's not ready. That's why you should trade scripts a lot first before. I definitely have multiple people read my work before I send out query letters. But then, yeah, so I think it makes it easy, but yeah, the rejection is hard. I mean, I don't want to brush past that. There's times when the rejection hurts more than others. When some of the like bigger faith-based companies turn down my work, like the Miracle script that John and I are working on, we're producing a trailer. You know, some companies have turned down, you know, the feature script, and it makes me sad because I want to work with those people, but at the same time, we just have to accept it may not be the time yet. But the positive thing is if you have a lot of balls in the air, it does make it easier when you get these rejections. And what's amazing about the fact that I have 6 more is that I wasn't even sending out queries. I did mention how I won some awards. And so then they asked more questions, but that's just another way that keeping in touch with your network, once you have people in your email that have emailed you back, these are the people you keep in contact with. So that's just important to note. And then getting back to your question, so the majority of the place I find them is actually IMDb Pro. So I highly recommend joining. You also get to pick, you know, what you're known for. You get to put pictures up. So it makes your profile just look a lot better. I actually just had a producer email me. She wanted to option a script of mine 3 years ago. It didn't really work out. But she's great and I would hope to work with her, but she just looked on my IMDb Pro or on my IMDb account and it looks decent. I mean, you just have to make it look as good as you can. But she reached out to me and was telling me the things that were on there and how they looked really good, and she wants to read some of my other work to see if we can find something else. So this is someone who a friend connected me to, but this is all, it's all like, it's like, this is not a rare occurrence if you do the groundwork. So like now that I'm in year 7, I see the results happening more and more and more of all the hard work over the years. So IMDb Pro, it's $20 a month, $150 a year. Highly recommend it. And you just go on there and you gather hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails. And the positive thing is, honestly, there's never like a shortage. So if you really are like, I just got 20 rejections on my script, but I believe in it and I want to get it out there, you could get more reads on your script if you put the time into it. And that's another thing where if you do like an hour a day of like sending queries, you know, it could work. And it helps keep you motivated to keep writing too. Because if you have like 10 to 20 to 30 people reading your scripts, it just feels nice, you know, and getting them to reply and actually read it is another story, but it's still a good connection for later.
I think you touched on something actually earlier, which is I'm an actor in Atlanta trying to do acting things, and auditions are the same way. You just shotgun as many as you can, and some rejections hurt more than the others. But I have found that the more that I have shotgunned out, the more that I've put out, the less personal it feels, because I'm just putting so many out there that I'm always looking forward. I'm always looking, okay, what's the next thing that I can submit for, rather than, ooh, I missed this opportunity. It's always looking forward and ahead, and okay, what's the next step? Oh, this thing happened to work out. Oh, this thing happened to work out. Okay, maybe it didn't. Okay, oh, this did. Okay, it's all constantly moving forward, which I have found incredibly helpful.
Yeah, that's great. I hadn't thought about it as much relating it to actors, but it absolutely makes sense. I don't know how you guys handle all of that rejection. I think it's harder, and I think it's more often.
Oh no, absolutely. It feels a lot more personal, because with you it's your writing. For us, it's our face.
Yeah. Well, and the hard thing is though with the writing is sometimes you put so much of your hurt and pain.
I mean, that is true. That is true.
Yes.
That is more of a heart thing. So yeah, that does make sense.
For actors, it's harder though. I say that a lot. Yeah, but IMDb Pro. So, you know, look at some of your favorite movies that are similar to yours, and you just click on the producers and you click all the way through. You know, sometimes you can click on a company and it won't have any emails, but if you click on each person, it might have emails on their page. So you just keep looking at other films they did. It's like going down the rabbit hole, and then you click on other producers for those films. You click on other producers for films they did. I mean, you just keep going. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I've never personally done like production companies. I just do like more of the independent producer route. But you can definitely get a lot of reads, and you just never know.
That's good. That's some really good. Any other tips you would give us to like we might not think about? It's like, some of the things you told me is like, why didn't I think of that? I really appreciate it. Do you have any other tips like that? That was good. IMDb Pro is really good. And LinkedIn, you said that earlier.
Yeah. So like LinkedIn too, you know, I've only recently started doing that. Well, I say recently, that was like 2019. So it's been about 3 years, but now I have like 6,500 connections. So it's great.
Oh.
So what I do for LinkedIn though, I don't really push as much, you know, I don't just send log lines out, but I've spent, you know, 2 years solid every day connecting to as many like producers, executive producers as I could. And just to keep that connecting. So I'm in their network so that if I wanted to message them, I could. So certain ones like the Miracle script, for instance, I did message, you know, quite a few people and just said, hey, you know, they were already my connections though. I wasn't like just connecting with them for that. And sometimes as you just keep connecting with people, they want to have a phone call to get to know you. And, you know, so it becomes a relationship. And I keep really careful track of like who I talk to. I try to get their email because LinkedIn things get buried. But but sometimes I will message them a log line like, hey, I have this new script. And I got several producers to read the Miracle script that way. So it's good. And then but now if I really wanted to like my next spec that I'm finishing that my agent's reading is a lower budget piece. So it might appeal to a wider audience. It has light faith. You know, it's just, so it's a little more like a survival family drama. So because it might have a wider audience and a wider producer interest range, I might send out more log lines on LinkedIn, but I've already done the groundwork. It's the long-term process thing. So I would just say, like, every day connect to other producers, and sometimes it'll start a conversation, and sometimes they'll ask what you're looking for. And make sure you put in your blurb, like, brand yourself, because I think that's really important, is like pick a genre, and just, even if you do other things, just try to focus on that. And because then they'll say, oh, what do you have in the Christmas, genre or something, Christmas
That's
thing.
good.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if this would be something that you have an answer for, and if you don't, that's fine. Is there anything that you felt like you wasted your time with when it came to networking? Something that you really didn't need to do that you did, at least starting out, or something that you wish you had done more of
Great
starting out?
idea. I think what I wish I had done more is the in-person networking in Los Angeles, and probably for Atlanta too. I think, as you probably know, my dad lives in Atlanta, and he's paying the same as rent that I am. And traffic is pretty bad there. So I don't
Yup.
know. It's like, seems about the same. But the point is that, in Los Angeles, a lot of times I had a full-time job as an assistant, which was great because that's how I got my agent. So it's like, you really do have to make those professional contacts that way, I feel like.
Mhm.
But even then I didn't do it long enough at the right places to make really good contacts. So I mean, I would have probably wanted to do more of that. I just had some injuries, unfortunately. But at the same time, I worked part-time for a writer as an assistant, like a TV writer. So I was working a lot. So I didn't always get to go to, like, all the evening networking events. I did try to go, so, like, at least twice a month. But even then, I'm sure there were some periods where I couldn't go that often. And I was also trying to write. But the problem is, you really have to push yourself to do that networking more, because it just builds on that. And yeah.
Something I hear somebody out there asking about the agent thing is how important is an agent? Does that agent really get you work, or would you recommend an agent? What would you say about the agent thing? And how do you
Yeah.
get one? And how do you get one?
I think it would be better to have a manager first.
Okay.
I mean,
What's the difference? What's the difference?
so, like, a manager will give you more time. They have more time because they usually have fewer clients, and they'll give you, like, more notes on your scripts, like more in-depth notes. They're more like looking at the long-term process too. I'm very blessed that I have an agent who does give me some time, but I also feel bad because I know how busy it is. I worked at an agency. They are crazy busy. So it's like, they just don't have the time. So I feel bad. I really do. But I'm blessed that she believes in me long term. She believes in my vision for the faith-based projects, even though, like, and one of the reasons she signed me was because I have that, because they don't have any other faith-based writers. It's at APA where I'm repped. And I'm grateful to have such a great agency behind me, honestly. And I mean, I'm so glad to have her, because she absolutely gets me meetings and possible jobs that I couldn't get myself throughout all the networking I try. She does get me some great meetings. Like last week, I had a great meeting with a studio, and it was fantastic. And she got me that. And she sends out my work to be read. I had 2 possible writing jobs last year that were like the bigger level writing jobs. One of them definitely liked me. They just don't have the money for the project right now. The other one, I didn't get selected, which is like part of the way it goes. I'm just newer to that. So it's like, it hurts because I really wanted to do that one. But the point is, I wouldn't have even had the chance without her. But I do think if you have a choice, going after managers is better, because they're usually more willing to take a risk on a baby writer. And I really haven't made my agent money yet. And so I'm just really wanting to get, I want to make her proud. But it does put more pressure on you, I think, to have a rep, because you feel that responsibility. I mean, they work for you, but still,
For people
As
who
an
don't
actor,
know,
I identify with that deeply.
what's a quick difference? A quick definition: manager versus agent.
Oh yeah. Okay. So manager, so they have less clients. They can also produce work. So sometimes that's a good thing, because they might actually help produce your work in a way. And sometimes they want that, if they love your script and they push it and bring people on board, they want to be a producer in some capacity. But they'll give you, like, generally, like, they'll give you like 3 sets of notes on your script, like 3 separate times, because they want to put that time into the piece. And they just really look at you as like a long-term investment. Agents tend to be more about the deal. Like they want, if your script is like ready, or if you're about to have a deal closed, then they'll sign you generally. So I mean, I just got really lucky that I do have an agent who believes in me. She has given me notes on my work. I mean, I just, she's a younger agent too, though, which is great because she is like building her career too. So it can work well for you that way. And I do love having like I like having a bigger agency behind me. I really think that is helpful if you can do that. So I'm very blessed in that sense. And then I wouldn't mind having a manager though. I have a manager considering my work, at least as of October. It's like, it's always a waiting game. So maybe sometime we'll check in with them, but for now we'll see. But it was like, it's a bigger manager, which is just great to be considered. And that's actually a manager I met at Austin. And I reached back out, and luckily someone who works in his office is a friend of mine. And I told them, thank you for your time at this roundtable. My friend works there. He checked with my friend to make sure I wasn't crazy. And he's like, oh yeah, your friend remember, and he's a good friend. I mean, he's like, your friend remembers you fondly, like send over your best work. We'll consider it. So that's an issue where like I met him networking in Austin, but then at the same time, because I was an assistant, when I assisted a manager, he worked at Paradigm. So he was an assistant. So we had the same actor clients, I assisted in talent. So, it was like, so we became friends, and that's what you do. You grab drinks with the other assistants. And now my friend, this is like 6 years ago. This is like when I first moved to LA, almost 7 years ago. And so my friend vouched for me. So then now I am being considered by a manager because of both networking and assistant time, but it's all networking actually. Yeah. So That's amazing. It works out. It just takes time.
Well, we're gonna wrap up fairly soon here, but just any other, just gave some wonderful tips there. I mean, you could do seminars on networking. You would be good at that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Thanks, John. Well, if you ever need help or need me to talk about that, I enjoy that.
Oh, I could tell. Yeah. Any other tips that you would like to pass on that would help people as they're getting their name out there? Anything else hits you?
Yeah, okay. So whatever city you're in, like even Atlanta, I know there's multiple film festivals wherever you are. I would just say, look up any festival, any film organization, get on their mailing list, and just go to as many events as you can. And you're just to meet people in your area. You can make films together, and you never know, like they could be working on a bigger movie and vouch for you. I mean, you just never know. So I think taking advantage of that is really good. There wasn't a lot of it where I was from in Birmingham, but there was some, and I definitely would do that as much as possible. So it definitely helps you just to be involved and get more credits. So I would just recommend that, like any mailing list you can think of or find, ask other people like what networking events there are. And I think it's important for writers, especially, but I mean, even actors, you never know, like what a producer may just like you as a person and at least strongly consider you, And then what was my other tip about that? Shoot, I'm trying to remember. But yeah, like any film festival, definitely just go to the film festivals, even small ones, meet people there. I had another tip, but now I'm drawing a blank.
We'll have to come back. Okay.
It's very true.
But I think just try to make it a priority. Like if you have the time to network once a week, I would definitely. And the hard part is some of the film jobs take so much time that you either can't make it or you're too tired. So it's a hard balance, but I would definitely say both my time in New York and in LA, I was always working between like 70 to 100 hours a week. But if I had networked more, it would have helped my career. I believe that.
Wow.
But I forget what else. I would say try to work in entertainment in some way, because I do think it helps you make those connections.
Oh, like you're saying, yeah. You work for an agency, you worked assistant to a writer.
Yeah.
Those are great connections. Yeah.
Definitely. So like in any city, I mean, there's agencies or there's like entertainment lawyers, and I just think it helps to be around it. And sometimes the pay isn't as good, so that's challenging. But then just keep doing your own networking, like online, I mean, it's nice that there are more Zooms, but as there are in-person things, I just think nothing compares to that. Oh, and definitely get business cards. I mean, I know I'm old school, But I would say like maybe less than half the people these days have business cards. And I guess some people have like their own QR code or whatever, but I don't know. I still think it's great to have a business card and to be able to hand it to someone. Because like, let's just say someone, texts me their contact info. I'm still not going to know where that goes in the ether of my phone. But I do take my stack of business cards and I email everyone I meet. So I guess that's another tip for people.
Oh, that's good.
If people
that
do
is
give
good.
you business cards, you email everyone. I would say only about half of them reply, which is sad. But I mean, and these are just like writers too. It's like, come on, like
Write an email. Can you write an email?
Yeah. The people that do reply, you just stay in touch. And it's great. And like one of my friends just moved up in development. And so like she's reading my script now. Like you just never know where you meet people. And even with these query letters, it's crazy because you don't always know what people can do. When you see them on LinkedIn or IMDb Pro, it's like, oh, they don't have very many credits. Their profile is kind of weird, but sometimes they're like way better than you think, I guess. Like just try to connect to them and, stick with the people that are nice to you. And then they might move up to have this big position too. That happened to me recently where he was like so funny and interesting, but he recently moved up to a big position and he's like, oh, I never forgot. I always loved your writing, but he was always encouraging. But like, I didn't know who he was. Like it's hard to explain. I don't want to give away details, obviously, but it was just like, you just don't want to judge people too harshly on their email, or you just never know where your next opportunity will come from. And just, stick to the nice people.
That's good. Well, Kimberly, anything else, Brian, before we wrap up?
No, that was great.
Stuff. Kimberly, that was
you're just reminding me how bad I am as networking as an actor. It's like I need to be doing all this stuff just on the acting perspective. So
it's good. It's good. You gave us some beautiful, like very practical things we can do to get out there. It's like, wow, I felt like we got a mini seminar there. That was really valuable information. Thank you, Kimberly.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on Story Chat. It's awesome. Awesome to have you. Thanks for being such a blessing to us.
Aw.
All right.
You're a blessing to me too. Thanks for all your encouragement.
In this world, we need encouragement, right? And as writers, we need to encourage each other. That's pretty the heart of the show, is encourage writers. Cool. And so, you fit right in. So thank you. Blessings to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Story Chat. If you want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. If you have any questions for John or feedback on the show, please email us at storychatwithjohn@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.